Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Married at First Sight. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Let's see if I have anything of interest to say to this TV show. I think this is the third installment that I've had with this show.
Hear that?
Let's see.
That sweet sound of snoring. That's the sound of being married.
But for some, adjusting to a new life, being legally married to someone they met just 3 days ago, can be more difficult than they anticipated.
Yeah, because you seemingly had a completely unscientific way of matching these people up, and you're not helping them with their relationships when you probably could. Maybe they will. I hope that the reverend, the sociologist, the marriage and family therapist step in, particularly with this couple, and actually helps them to work out their differences.
Because not only are they just getting to know each other, they're also getting adjusted to being on camera. Some people may want to portray a perfect picture of themselves or their relationship because they don't want to be embarrassed, and that's perfectly understandable. But honestly, hiding things from your spouse or acting differently on camera than off camera can be highly detrimental.
Really? That's what you have to offer? Being two-faced is highly detrimental? I don't know what it is. I should be nice. I might meet these people at some point in my life. Who knows? I don't know why I have so much disdain for, because these are scientists. These are the professor of sociology. My God, does she understand, or she should understand, research extremely well. Sociology is all about research and science. Marriage and family therapy is based on science, and particularly if you have a doctorate like that woman did, then she did her own scientific research in all likelihood. When they say things, they don't insert any science. So I watched the very first episode and I saw them matching up these people, and I kept reacting. I was like, wait, they seem to be just randomly matching up these people on their own random opinions instead of actually looking to the science. There are scientific ways that you can predict whether or not two people will be a good match. The other thing that you could do to make sure people are a good match is actually help them to work out their conflicts. I, as a couples therapist, have helped many marriages to stay together because usually people are coming from a good place. Mika and Michael are both probably wonderful people, and there was a misunderstanding, and there was insecurities and pain and hurts and fears, and that led to defenses, which led to them getting into a conflict. And so I guess it wouldn't be a reality TV show if there wasn't conflict, but this show actually has a marriage and family therapist who is associated with it, and I feel like it's upsetting to me that they're not getting involved. Again, maybe they will. I'm guessing they will. Let's see what happens.
I feel sad. It makes me feel like a failure.
Last night, Zach says to me, this is kind of weird because I'm kind of like forced to make things work with someone that I don't have a spark with. Yeah.
Until we can both agree that we've acknowledged it, we feel good about our communication, and then we move past it. And then maybe now I can say that I'm comfortable with you, I know who you are, you're comfortable with me. And that's an evolution process.
What? I'm like, what did you just say? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I agree. If I were there, I would ask for more clarification, but it seemed like a lot of words and not a lot of substance.
Are you fist bumping me right now?
I'm proud of you.
He's so romantic.
I like it.
So Brandon wakes up and, he's not in the best mood.
Don't do that. Don't be mad.
He's not talking to me. I'm very confused at this point. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what to do because the Brandon I thought I knew changed very quickly.
Okay, another disaster that might be happening right now. He woke up, he's in a bad mood, he's not talking to her, and she's trying to reach out to him, and he's shutting her out. It's not a good sign.
This season, we're asking our couples to bond with each other much more than we've ever done before because some of these couples have already gotten off to a really rocky start. It will be important for them to have a support system with the only people who really know what they're going through.
Or you can send the marriage and family therapist in to help them. Just a suggestion.
Can I give you a super gross, sweaty hug?
I know.
Seriously.
So just a small asterisk comment is with Mindy right there. Again, can I give you a gross, sweaty hug? She seems to be exhibiting this schema that she's a gross, sweaty, oily, ugly person. I'm guessing if she does have that schema, it's because she was made to feel that way. Not necessarily her looks, but a core to her person. So you can make a 2-year-old feel worthless. You can make a 5-year-old feel worthless without insulting their looks. And then that gets translated later into notions about being ugly. But the core of their schema is that they feel like they're worthless and ugly on the inside.
We are different in a lot of ways, but in a very, I'm hoping in a way that can really like complement each other and not go against each other.
It is interesting dynamic where like my weak areas are her very strong areas and vice versa.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
cool. And it's
Nice.
and I think that we see that. And
So I don't know what they're referring to. You know, they're saying that they complement each other. So there is research on that issue, that there's a common notion in society that opposites attract. I think it's because it seems fun to imagine that opposites attract, Beauty and the Beast kind of a thing. But when we actually look at people, when we look at the scientific empirical evidence, we find that that is absolutely not true. In fact, it's the opposite. We are attracted to people who are very similar to us in values, in attitudes, political beliefs, religious beliefs, security type, conflict style, family style, culture, ethnicity, looks, job, class, education, blah, 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 sense of humor. We are very much attracted to people that are like us. And there are some exceptions to that, but the rule generally is that. And what a lot of people will do is they'll accentuate differences. You know, oh, well, she's from New York and I'm from the country. But if you actually looked at their relationship, if they are a good match, they will share a lot of similar things. So right away we see with Zach and Mindy, they're talking about how they have all these differences right now. Again, I don't know what they're referring to. And that could mean that they're not a good match. It's one of those things that the matchmakers could have looked at. Maybe they did, but they didn't talk about it in that first episode. They mainly talked about random things like the fact that they're both physical. Like, oh, well, she does yoga and he likes to jog. They're going to be a good match. Instead of getting down to brass tacks around what are your values? How many kids do you want? Do you want kids? Those kinds of major questions they just didn't do. I'm going to try not to just hack on the show the entire time because I'm guessing you, the watcher, don't want me to do that. Comment below. Let me know if you want me to say these kinds of things because this show triggers me a lot because other reality shows, they don't have scientists who are associated or hosts of the show. This show has 3 hosts, a minister, a sociologist, scientist, and a doctoral marriage and family therapist who has probably done science. And they're not using that science and they're not using their skills to actually help these couples to stay together. Anyway, I'll stop ranting. Let's see what happens.
What about you guys? Yeah, Brenda and I are super similar, like even like down to like the eating habits and stuff like that.
So another research finding is that when you are attracted to someone and you actually feel like you're in a good relationship, one, you tend to see the other person as being more similar to you than they actually are, and you tend to become like each other over time. So we're not only attracted to people similar to us, but we tend to see them as closer in similarity to us, and over time we become like each other. If you've ever seen one of those old couples where they look like identical twins in some ways, it's partially perhaps because of that reason.
What about you guys? Yeah, Brenda and I are super similar, like even like down to like the eating habits and stuff like that.
We are very big on respect. And that's huge. Especially you woke me up with the camera in my face.
For the life of me, I don't know where the attitude is coming from.
Okay, so I don't know if you caught that, but for Brandon right there, Taylor was doing a selfie video, and he was sleeping and snoring, and she was doing a selfie video and going like, haha, this is what marriage sounds like. Hear him snoring. And, you know, it's a cute little video that she's making. And he got up, and then he was give her the silent treatment and was pissy towards her the entire morning. And she was like trying to bridge the gap. And then now, in the midst of these other people, he reveals in this passive aggressive way or aggressive way, this annoyingly aggressive way, shall we say, as the couples are going around talking about their compatibilities, he's like, well, we really share respect. And you're like, well, that's interesting. Why is he going there? And he says, like, when she woke me up this morning, taking a picture of me while I was sleeping, that kind of respect. That doesn't bode well. He had plenty of opportunity while they were upstairs alone to tell her, so honey, when I wake up, I don't really like it when you take a picture. I get why you're doing it. You're trying to be cute, but it sort of puts me in a bad mood. So if I could please ask you not to do that. Now, why would Brandon be kind of a dick about this and reveal it in this moment? It's not because people wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be a dick. It's because of insecurity and modeling. So if you never had good modeling of how to work out conflict in your family, if you never saw people actually work out their conflicts together in a way that was loving and respectful, you might literally have no way of knowing, well, what do you say, you know? And so a lot of therapy for me with couples is actually modeling for them. I will say the words like I just did earlier. You know, hey, honey, when I woke up and I saw you taking a picture, it felt violating on some level. Like I don't like people taking pictures of me while I'm sleeping and posting things. I've been burned in the past. I know you were trying to be cool, and I know that you didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but it does kind of bother me, and that's why I was in a bad mood for a little bit. It's possible that Brandon has never, because many people have never heard of that kind of way of communicating, owning your feelings, giving other people the benefit of the doubt, but being assertive and saying, look, I don't want you to do this. So that's one possible speculation as to why he would be a jerk. The other possible reason is that he doesn't trust other people. When he was giving the silent treatment earlier, that was the first thing I thought, because that's often what usually is the case, is that when we give people the silent treatment, we are hurt and or afraid of something that the other person did, and we don't trust if we told them what was on our mind that anything would change. We don't trust that if we told them what was on our mind that they would hear us and care about us and not ridicule us or something. So my suspicion of Brandon, or my hypothesis, is that he doesn't trust people enough to actually tell them, own his feelings and tell them in a functional way, and he feels like he has to do it in this passive aggressive way by attacking her through this joke sarcasm in front of everyone else. Again, doesn't bode well. Now, this is another thing you can measure, by the way, scientifically. You can actually interview people and find out their security level, find out their model of other people, their working model, their trust of other people, and match people up. Because if you have secure attachment, if you generally trust other people, then you're much more likely to be in a relationship that is going to work out. Whereas if you tend not to trust other people, then the chance of your relationships going badly is increased.
Trying to be patient here, and he's being like a little bitch.
You better show some respect. I'm moving into the phase of getting to know my wife, and it throws me for a loop when she stuck a camera in my face. It started to make me think like, wow, have you been videotaping me this entire time? What's going on?
Okay, so there it is. He's like, wait, I was sleeping and you're videotaping me? Like, that freaks me out. You're entitled to that, Brandon, but you got to say it like this. Don't give her the silent treatment all morning and then blast her in front of everyone in a sarcastic manner.
Like, why was this the proper time for you to videotape me? It freaked me out.
Every characteristic that I could have asked for, and I did ask the experts for, kind, considerate, respectful, patient.
Okay, so I'm getting a little glimpse into the matchmaking process. She asked for kind, what were well, there's a lot of good words, kind, patient, all those nice things. Did someone ask for a mean person? I wish I knew the whole process of how they match these people up, because I'm guessing it would trigger me to say a lot of things.
He told my family and friends, like, looked them all in the eyes and told them, I am patient with sex. Sex is not on my mind. Whenever Mika's ready, I'm going to let her take the lead. And then he literally says to me, if we don't have sex during the honeymoon, then I'm not going to want to be in this movie.
Not okay. Yeah, no.
For him, sex, intimacy, romance is here, and everything else comes secondary today.
Wow.
And that's not how I operate. That's not my
So your
relationship.
values in the relationship are
Completely different.
Yeah, and also the fact.
Right, good. So Katie hit the nail on the head there. She says, oh, okay, so your values in a relationship are completely different. Not that he's a terrible person. You just have different values. Wouldn't it have been nice to have known that before you got married? But having said that, I don't see any reason why Mika and Michael can't work this out. If they just give each other some grace, start over, try to, bond, and because Michael seems totally open to taking time too. And I don't know. I'm hoping that the show gives him a chance to bond again, give him another chance. We'll see if that happens.
That he's like saying one thing to family and friends and then saying a different thing to you.
I mean, that just shows that he like knows that that's not right.
Right. Yeah.
Even though we are not liking Michael right now, I want you to have a positive marriage.
Yeah.
I want you to like be able, maybe this is something you guys can work out. But like, let's demand some respect and like move forward with the positive. And just explain like, this is really not right here. This is not how I want to be treated, And we'll try to get him together. Yeah. I'll try to work on him through Brandon.
So it's great that her friends are supporting her as they should. The message, though, that I would give if I were her friend would be, well, I think you need to talk with him and figure out what happened there. Demanding respect isn't usually, of course, everyone deserves respect, of course. But why did he disrespect her? What led up to that? That's what we want to talk about. Was there a misunderstanding? Did he feel pressure because of some masculine expectation? Or did he think, of course we're going to have sex. We just got married. Maybe he had different expectations. He has different values. Let's get to those. Let's not demand, you're going to respect me, because that's that dynamic that we've seen with Mika and Michael, where Mika kind of has a talked down way of speaking to him, and then Michael has a kind of a shrinking way of giving in the situation. Neither one of them want that dynamic. So I worry that if she follows their advice and demands respect, that it'll just perpetuate that dynamic.
There were like some inconsistencies in like how he presented himself on and off camera. It's hard for me to like see any interest in him now.
Tell me, what was he not being genuine about?
Like sex and intimacy. Because like during the wedding, he talked to my mom, my friends, all my family. He made it very clear to them that as far as like sex and intimacy, there was no rush, and it was like on my time, and it was whenever I felt comfortable. But that wasn't the situation at all. It was like a rush for me to have sex with him or be intimate with him.
Okay.
If I say I'm not ready, then that should be what it is, that I'm not ready.
I hold men to a very high standard. Here's what I want you to focus on. Michael may have said some things that he had no business saying, but do I believe that's his character? I do not. I don't believe that's the case.
Okay, I'm glad that one of these experts is intervening. The Reverend is intervening, and he's reframing it for her. He's saying that, okay, he did something that was terrible, but I don't think that is reflective of his character. I believe in him. I think he's a good person. I think you should believe in his character, and let's see if we can work this out. I think that's a very positive, hopeful message that he's giving her.
I know that what you found out to this point you might have felt is disappointing. But I think you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the relationship to at least go back to being friends. Your focus should be simply getting to know him. It's only been 3 days. Let's see what else there is.
I get what you're saying.
You guys do have the potential to work.
Okay.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, that makes
You know, whether or not it happened tomorrow or it doesn't happen at all or happens in 7 weeks, I gotta at least know where you're coming from, how you look at sex. That's just for me to be comfortable.
Now, look, I get it. You're married. Why not? In some environments, that might be great. In yours, it's not. So that's going to take time.
Hallelujah, Pastor Cal stepping in. I like it. Maybe the other people are going to step in eventually too. Totally agree. Communication error. I think that at least that's the way it's coming across, and he's helping to bridge that gap. So thank God that Pastor Cal is on the case.
If you have questions, tell her why you're asking that question. And if she feels that it's too soon to have that conversation, then it's too soon to have even that conversation. Nobody needs to draw a conclusion about how anybody is or anything.
Also good advice. I don't know if Michael is going to retain that bit of advice because that's complicated. Pastor Cal is saying, when you ask a question about sex, tell her why you're asking the question. When you asked questions about when are we going to have sex, she interpreted it as, you better have sex with me. Whereas it sounds like from you, Michael, you were just asking to see what her sexual makeup was because you were curious about who that you married. And that's okay. Maybe if you said, by the way, I'm going to ask you some questions. I just want to get to know you. That's why I'm not asking these questions to pressure you. That would have helped. So Pastor Cal's giving some good advice, but I don't know if Michael's going to retain that, but we'll see.
You should be just having fun, getting to know each other, and just learning from one another. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. Let her see the best parts of you. Let her see your kindness. Let her see your goodness. Let her see you, just doing those things. Don't give up on the process. Don't give up on her. Because we believe that you guys are a good match. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
It's great. A big part of what a couples therapist does, especially in the beginning and maybe throughout, is to inspire and to provide hope. It's something I tell all of my students, all of my trainees when they embark into couples therapy, is especially in the first session, you have to inspire them. You have to instill hope in them. A lot of couples come to my office and sit down on my couch, and they just feel like they're the only couple that has these problems. They're a failure. What's wrong with us? And I'm here to tell you, all couples have problems. All couples probably should go to couples therapy. Many couples who should go to couples therapy don't go to couples therapy. Many couples should go to couples therapy throughout their... I've been seeing some couples for years and years and years, and they're doing fantastic, and we only meet once a month, once every couple of months. And we do that because things come up, and it's normal that things come up. So anyway, he is doing that. The pastor, he's instilling hope in both of them. Like, we matched you for a reason. Now, is that placebo reason or an actual scientific, is there scientific basis to that reason, or is it just placebo? Who knows? Let her see your good side. I'm going to yell at him and make him understand what's going on, but believe, he's trying to help them, inspire them to see the good in each other. I do that all the time as a couples therapist. I frequently am inspired myself by their work to inspire them to see the wonderfulness in each other and in themselves. And that's what Pastor is doing, which is great. All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. We're about halfway, episode 5, I believe, season 10. Tune in next time when we continue watching, and we'll see what happens. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself and get to couples therapy because you deserve it. You really, really do.